type this out in the replay, and I appreciate y'all for bearing with me while we're doing this because it's been kind of rough here. So I want to start by talking about number 23, Colorado, as we head into this all-important Week 10 of college football, man. We have got to the part in the program where it is show up or be shown out. This is championship November, baby. I have been looking forward to this November all year long because we got this thing called the 12-team playoff. We got this thing where we're going to get more than just the Power 4 conference champions into this thing. We're going to find out who is about it and who showed up to work and who got luck on their side and who's trying to ride a little bit of momentum through the middle of this thing, baby. I'm fired up. I really am. And you know what? I'm fired up for Colorado. I'm fired up for Colorado because I see a road. I see a road to not just the Big 12 championship, but 10 wins this season, and a 10-win Colorado might just make it into the college football playoff because then it becomes a popularity contest, and Prime is winning every popularity contest, okay? I see the SEC eating itself. You got 2-loss Alabama and 2-loss LSU later this week. Massive game for both of them because you're trying to stay on the fringe of this thing, trying to stay on the fringe of this thing called the college football playoff, and the winner ain't going to make it. The loser ain't going to make it. The winner gets to keep playing, okay? We get Georgia, Tennessee a little bit later on. Tennessee knows what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to sell out. They're going to have to win. They're going to have to beat Georgia. A 2-loss Georgia probably gets in the college football playoff, right? Say nothing to the SEC champ. Texas got docked for beating Vanderbilt on the road and saw Miami go over the top of them with a win against Florida State, who ain't nobody and ain't been nobody all year. We got so much to unpack there. But the way that I'm looking at Colorado is informed by the way that you look at Colorado and the way that you look at me. One of the things that I find interesting about my job, especially as I do this show, is so much of the conversation is not about what I'm talking about. It's about what I look like, how I sound, and what I said in August, September, October, July. As if we don't play football games and the facts don't change based on the outcomes of football games. But there are a lot of things that have gone right for Colorado here of late, right? One of those things is they are staying healthy enough to compete, and they're bouncing back from injuries in a way that they just weren't able to last year. They were dropping like flies, Travis Hunter among them. I think Prime has been a little bit more judicious with his use of Travis Hunter, even as the boy's still playing over 100 snaps. You'll notice, first start of the season, he's playing about 130 snaps, okay? In their win against Cincinnati, he played just over 100. In the second half of Arizona, they pulled him out. You could see Prime going, I need you to be able to play the last 3-4 weeks of November without injury. So the shoulder gets re-aggravated, shut it down. You know, kind of like Shohei Ohtani, right? Like any great player. If a gnat hits a pitcher now, that dude might not pitch the rest of the year, okay? If you feel a twinge in your hamstring and you're a sprinter, you're not going to run in this meet. That's not going to happen. We're going to need to save you until we got to get to winning time, right? Shohei Ohtani dislocates his shoulder. It's all right. He's going to be back. Don't know if he's going to be back for game 3 because they got 2 games in hand for the Dodgers. But he will be back because it's winning time, baby. It's winning time. That's what November is. November is winning time. Colorado's going into a bye week, but Shedeur Sanders has stayed healthy. Is he still getting sacked too much? Yes. Is he getting sacked as much as he did last year? No. Is the offensive line improved? Yes. Is the defense improved? Yes. And now, a couple of things are falling into place. One is Colorado is learning the value of playing away from a national spotlight. They are learning the value of playing a late night Saturday game. They're learning the value of folks seeing you take a couple losses early and then kind of pushing you to the wayside while we talk about Indiana, while we talk about Iowa State, while we talk about BYU, while we talk about Miami, and we give them the benefit of the sunlight, of the spotlight. Colorado is taking a page out of us that came up on the SoundCloud. Before I got this show, I had a podcast, dormant now, called The RJ Young Show. And it has like 300 ratings on it because folks just wanted me to do an audio podcast, something that was easier for them to consume on their way to work. And I got so good into it that, you know, the ratings for the number 1 college football show still haven't caught up to that because I was giving my whole body to it. But all you're doing is working when you're on SoundCloud, man. All you're doing is making beats and throwing what you got over the beats. Like I even made a mixtape called Damn Near 30. when I was damn near 30 because I was in it like that. And what I find is once you get a studio home, right? Once you get to Columbia, once you get to Def Jam, once you get the record deal, it's not that you become less of a player, right? It's not that you become less of a hustler. It's that there's all this other crap that's all around you. It's like Rocky 3, man. You know, you're doing stuff because the money is there and you ain't got no money. You can't eat, right? You got to go hustle it. And I'm saying this as a man who's living in an efficiency department 6 years ago, right? Jobless, trying to make it through, working on a book, right? The come up I've been blessed. But along the way, you're learning what you're capable of and what you're not. And you're learning what things you need to have to function. And you learn what things you need to have to strive, to thrive. And I think Colorado's getting to that place, right? I think Colorado is getting back to the basic principles that help them become the program they need to be to win in the end, right? Not win in September like they did last year. Not have Taylor Rooks coming through, Stephen A coming through, Unc Shannon coming through, right? Everybody on the sideline, The Rock coming through, say what's up, dapping you up. It's cool. It's great. A lot of money rolling in. But you know what? Then you get beat down by Oregon. You get beat by USC. And down the tubes goes your season. You go 4-8. That was not what Prime was doing at Jackson State. They won 12 games at Jackson State in a state that was in a water crisis for the better part of a year. Okay? They knew what they needed to have to win. They didn't ask for much more than what we need to win. Then you get to Colorado. They got nice stuff in Colorado. It's a standard of living that you can grow accustomed to, right? It's the kind of place where Travis Hunter gets there and says, hey, I would really like it if the Denver Broncos would draft me because I really like being in Colorado. You know what I'm saying? So good that Prime only goes back home to go back home for a little bit, then he right back to the crib at Colorado where he needs to be. But you ain't come to Colorado to go 4-8. You know what I'm saying? You went to Colorado to win championships. And he was very loud about that. That's a man who was on the sideline in the back of the end zone at the 2022 national championship game between Georgia and Texas Christian saying, we got to get here. It's a long way from Colorado to there. But now, a program whose win total was projected at 5.5 has already hit 6 bowl eligibility before Halloween. And now, we're going to find out once again what it's like for Colorado to play underneath the spotlight, because that's what a top 25 ranking is for. I'm sure Prime didn't want it. I'm sure Colorado fans didn't want it. I'm sure they was like, leave us alone. Let us be Clubber Lang over here working in the dark. Let us earn this. Leave us alone. We're making it happen, okay? And we're making it happen mostly because y'all don't give a damn and y'all have written us off, and it's much easier to play with a chip on your shoulder than it is to play as the favorite. It is extremely difficult to play as the favorite because there's only one place to go. You know, down. You get to the apex, you get to the mountaintop, there ain't nowhere else to go. You just got to stay there. And what got you there, it does not keep you there. And we're getting to learn that about this Colorado program, man. You know, we haven't talked as much about Jordan Seaton, and we should. That dude has been outstanding at left tackle as a true freshman. You know, we all talk about Travis Hunter, but I keep trying to tell y'all what Travis Hunter's doing we've never seen before. And I think he can be this kind of unconscious because it ain't really getting to him like that. You know, like it's like seeing a man on a great scoring tear. You know, you come to understand that's just what he's going to do, right? What Steph Curry was doing for the last 5-10 years, what Steph Curry did in the Olympics against France, my God. There's something special about seeing someone on their vision quest as they're going through it. And I believe that that man is on his vision quest. I believe that Travis Hunter is the Heisman Trophy winner as far as I'm concerned. It's no shade to Ashton Jeanty or Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel. I'm going to acknowledge that this man is doing what we ask superstars to do. Give us a reason to be in awe both as professionals and as laymen. You know, Shohei Ohtani inspires awe from not just, you know, plebes, you know, people like myself who watch the game, but dudes that have been playing that game or have played that game for decades and are in Cooperstown. They're in the Hall of Fame going, I don't understand how he keeps doing this at this level. You know, like getting to the show is getting to the show, right? I still think it's the toughest sport to get to be a real live big league professional in because it's just A-ball, low A-ball, A-ball, double A, triple A. And then you get to the show, and I live in Tulsa, which is affiliated with the Dodgers, just like Oklahoma City. So I get to see all these dudes come through, right? I watch Kim Mulkey's kid take Clayton Kershaw deep to left field in a rehab stint. And if that dude can take him deep to left field, anybody can do it. Clayton Kershaw might be one of the greatest pitchers of my generation, right? I've seen all these dudes come through, and to see what they're able to do when they get to the show is inspiring. And then I see guys like Travis Hunter. And I see somebody like Shedeur Sanders, who is, believe it or not, cut from the same place as Baker Mayfield. Both of those dudes don't want to talk to nobody that had anything bad to say about them ever. They holding a grudge forever. That's just how they're going to get down. I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no trying to change sides on this or anything. It's simply, nah, I'm going to be here. You know where I am. You know who I am. You know where you can find me. You don't like what I'm saying? Tell me. We can talk about it. If I'm wrong, say that I'm wrong. I'll tell you. Ask me the questions. You know what I'm saying? But as we get closer to the end of this thing, I'm looking at Colorado's schedule. And teams that I expected to be good at the start of the season, teams many of us expect to be good at the start of the season, is cheeks now. Utah is sorry. Kansas is sorry. Oklahoma State is sorry. Those are three teams that I thought were going to be really good at the end of the year that aren't. And Colorado's coming into a place where let's see how far we can take this. We're bowl eligible for the first time since 2020. We're off to our best start since 2018. Let's see what we can do. Now, it's one thing for Prime to be Prime, right? Great motivational speaker, great marketing savvy, perhaps one of the better head coaches in our sport today. Like, he wins 10 games with Colorado, he's going to be coach of the year. But Prime don't play. And that's the thing that I would tell you I'm more impressed with Colorado. He doesn't play. There's only so much a head coach can do. And when you are Prime and people know you as the man who did these incredible things as a player, still the only man in history to play in the World Series and the Super Bowl. And by the way, he got a couple of rings. You know, the dude walked on for his last year at Florida State, and it was the right move because the Yankees drafted him, wanted to give him some money. He also was, you know, a kiddo in that the man bought a manual transmission car that he didn't know how to drive. Because he could do that. You know what I'm saying? But his drive comes from the place that my drive comes from, that I think many of his players' drive comes from. He can't go back. You know? He grew up with roaches in the house. You know? He grew up in a place where he got thrown into the pokey for being with his partners and vandalizing a vacant house. And his mama left him there overnight where everybody else got to go home because she wanted him to stick. She wanted him to know this is what happens to you when you be stupid. This is a man that need to have the grip. You know what I'm saying? He got to have the stacks. It's not about the flash. It's about not going back. He's been able to instill that into his players, you know, from Shedeur to Shiloh to Travis to Jimmy, all the way down, right? It's a bunch of dudes that have been made to understand you're only going to eat what you kill. And at Colorado, people are going to judge you by a different standard. But that's what you signed up for. You know, like I always kind of get in my feelings about this stuff because I treat Colorado like I treat Ohio State, like I treat Oklahoma. If you say you're going to be about it, then go be about it. Stop making excuses. Go hunt. You know? I think that, yes, that is a Big 12 championship contender. I think if Kansas State stumbles, they got a shot. BYU stumbles, they got a shot. Iowa State stumbles, they got a shot. But you know what? If BYU and Iowa State run the table undefeated and make it in the Big 12 championship game, you just got to let that be, man. You got to say, hey, Athena, I did everything I know how to do. If you want to give me the Aristea to get into the college football playoff, I'll take it from you. If not, we know what we have to do next year. We can't lose. That's it. You don't lose, you're going to get into the playoff. We used to couldn't say that, right? It used to be maybe. But now, think about it this way. 1998 Tulane, they're not playing in no BCS championship game, but they did go undefeated. 2010 Texas Christian, they're not playing in no national championship game, but they did go undefeated. 2017 Central Florida, they not playing in no national championship game, but they did go undefeated. Now, we have this. Florida State, 2023. They didn't get to play in the college football playoff. They won the Power 4 championship, ACC champion. They didn't play in no national championship. Now, if you go undefeated, we have a road for you. we've kind of made it impossible not to get you into this thing. And that's what we're talking about. Get into the dance, baby. Get into this thing called the playoffs. I'm so excited about this November because it harkens back to high school for me. It harkens back to high school for you. You just wanted a shot in the playoffs, man. Once you got to the playoffs, cool. Bet. Stop. What we doing? Now everybody's back to zero. I can work from zero. I'm a black man in America. Of course I can work from zero. Been working from behind zero for years, for decades. Come on now. Put us on equal footing and watch us go to work. And I think that's where Colorado is. So take this bye week, go get healthy, figure out what it's going to take for you to get where you need to go, and make it do what it do, baby. Make it do what it do. Meanwhile, we got to talk about Ohio State, Penn State. Okay. All right. Ohio State, Penn State is the biggest game on the schedule this weekend, right? It's the big noon game, 11 a.m. game. It is number 3 versus number 4 at Beaver Stadium. And both of these programs have given you reason to believe they're not as good as we thought they were. Penn State has yet to give you a reason to believe that it can win a national championship. They beat everybody they played. They have not been at any point dominant against a good program. Bowling Green took them into the deep water. USC took them into overtime. Both of those programs are mediocre. Okay? Wisconsin had them on the ropes until the defense said, it's cool. Drew Aller can go down. We're going to take care of this. Picked off Braden Locke, ran it back, basically broke the game, and they get this win against Wisconsin to set up this all-important one against Ohio State because this is the most important game on the schedule for them. They have to win this game. They have to. If they lose this game, they're not making the playoff. Or not. We're not going to put an 11-win Penn State in there if there's an 11-win Indiana in there, right? Especially if they beat Ohio State. They can't afford a loss in this game. They have to win it. Because the 12-team playoff was created with teams like Penn State in mind. Programs that have been good for the past decade, college football playoff era, but have not been good enough to be one of the 4 teams invited. Now we've tripled the field. We've tripled the field thinking that Penn State, USC, Florida would all take advantage of the other 8 spots, and they haven't, save Penn State. But Penn State has got to do what it's really had a difficult time doing, which is beat Ohio State. There's no Michigan on the schedule. And even if there was, Michigan isn't good enough for us to believe that it's a quality win anymore. Ask Texas about that, right? I think you've got 2 really, really great tailbacks. You got one of the best tailback combinations in college football. I'd say top 3, right? And Nick Singleton, K-Tron Allen. And when one ain't thunder, the other one is. And when one is lightning, the other one is thunder. When you got them both healthy, you can run the ball. And when you can run the ball and play defense, you got a chance to win every football game you play. Is Drew Aller capable of leading that team to a national championship? I don't know, but I ain't seen it. Nothing in his game so far has told me he's capable of beating Ohio State. He's capable of beating Oregon, of beating Georgia, of beating Texas. I ain't seen it, but there's still time. There's still room, and that's assuming he comes back from this injury. He wasn't able to go to the second half. Bo Pribula was. He looks fine. They ran a lot of zone read with him. Looked like Marcel Reed. If Marcel Reed played more than Mason Dixon line and didn't have no melanin in his skin. Okay? That's the kind of scheme they was running. Andy Kotelnicki trying to find ways to scheme Tyler Warren open, who feels like the only dude who has locked up any individual award so far this year. If he don't win the Mackey Award, we gotta throw the folks to voting the Mackey out. That's the best tight end in the country. They do everything with that dude, and he continues to show up in ways that other tight ends just aren't asked to show up. You know, and as much as it pains me to see it didn't happen for Tom Allen in Indiana and what he has to watch happen with Kurt Cignetti the year after he gets fired, he is coordinating what I think is one of the better defenses in the country. And when I take a look at this thing in November, I'm really going to have to take a look at whether Tom Allen deserves to be on this list of Broyles Award finalists if they get a win against Ohio State. So you got everything to play for if you are the Penn State Nittany Lions. And James Franklin needs a W. He needs a W in this game. You know, James Franklin makes it kind of difficult for me to talk about him from time to time, dog. That man performed the 31st miracle at Vanderbilt, back-to-back winning seasons. Okay? What Clark Lee is doing, James Vanderbilt, like, I did that. He's the only man alive today who could say he did that because Vanderbilt is that tough a job. That said, I don't think that he eats fried chicken with a fork. I don't think he does that. I do think I would like James Franklin to be a little bit more, it's me out here, and I've been making it happen at Penn State. I would like to see a little bit more prime in James Franklin's game. How about that? I would like to see a little bit more prime. I would like to see a little bit more Andrew Young in James Franklin's game. Okay? I would like to see that. I would enjoy that. I think that would be good for all of us. Okay? On the other side, however, we got Ryan Day and Ohio State. And Ryan Day and Ohio State got their backs against the wall, as only Ohio State could have its back against the wall after taking a single loss to the number one team in college football by 1 point. Because the standard at Ohio State is not the standard everywhere else. At Ohio State, the fan base expects 11-12 wins. It expects to win the Big Ten championship, and it doesn't understand when it doesn't. Runner-up? No. Not playing? Unfathomable. Losing to Michigan? Now we're doing something different. Now they've done it 3 times in a row. They ought to beat Michigan by 125 this year because Michigan ain't that good, and they are that good. But they also have let everybody know that they have sold out to win this football game. I mean, they on their Michael Hardy tip of sold for sale, we need to win against Michigan, the Big Ten championship, and a national championship in 2024. Not 2025, not 2026, 2024. What's it going to take? Ryan Day said, I need Chip Kelly. I need Carlos Loughlin. I need to lock up Brian Hartline. I need to lock up Jim Knowles. I need to lock up Larry Johnson Sr. I can move off of Tony Alford. I need $20 million. I need grad transfer in Will Howard, his backup in Julian Sand, the best tailback in the SEC in Quinshawn Judkins, the best wide receiver maybe the last 10 years in Jeremiah Smith. I need Emeka Ibuka to come back. I need Jack Sorry to come back. I need JT Tuimoloau to come back. I need Tyleik Williams to come back. I needed Denzel Burke from 2023 to come back, stop getting cooked like that man is somebody's grits, and he getting cooked and they eating him. I need the best safety in all of college football in Caleb Downs. I need Latham Ransom back there. I need Cody Simon to return. I need Carnell Tate. I need Brandon Ennis. Oh, yeah, and I need my home run hitter, Travion Henderson. And if we can we go get this center down to Alabama named Seth McLaughlin? Because I think I can do something with him. Oh, let me go get Josh Simmons over here from San Diego State. Put them all together in the mix. Give it to me, and I'm going to serve you back a national championship. And they said, bet. And I said, what? And they said, no, RJ, we're going to get this man everything he asked for because we have demanded a national championship. He has said this is what it's going to take. So this is what he's going to get. Then you go to Autzen, and you do what everybody else does when they go to Autzen and their name ain't Washington. You lose. And not only do you lose, you lost Josh Simmons at left tackle, but they don't care. You play the next game against Nebraska. Nebraska had just gotten the brakes beat off of them by Indiana, who's coming out of nowhere, like an RKO from Randy Orton, to sun the Big Ten in Kurt Cignetti's year one. They beat Nebraska 56-7. You beat Nebraska 21-17 and need a fourth quarter comeback to do it at home. And folks want to know what the hell's going on. So you get water bottles getting thrown out there because they think you're trying to rob the game, but really they just mad about the play. You can't really throw the football, run the football. You need Jeremiah Smith to go make plays. That's what he does. Emeka Ibuka to make plays. Carnell Tate to make plays. Travion Henderson to make plays. Quinshawn Judkins to make plays. You get all that. But the win doesn't do anything to make Ohio State fans feel good about Penn State, let alone the national championship. Now, you're going to slide out an All-American guard to left tackle in Donovan Jackson. Donovan Jackson is capable of a lot of things. I don't know that he's capable of being an all-American standard left tackle, but they want, hey, RJ, we don't need him to be all-American. We just need him to hold up against the pass rush over there. Let me tell you something. When I know you got basically 3 guards to one side of the offensive line, and that's what a center is, it's a guard that snaps the football, I'm sending everybody to that side. I'm overloading it, and I'm saying I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. I'm going to pick on you. And if you can beat me, then you can beat me. Because now I know Mikowski, he gone. Josh Simmons, he ain't no good. He's not anymore. He's no good to you because he's injured. Not that he's not no good. I know you are down. To which Ryan Day might say, hey guys, I can't bring people back from injury. You know what I'm saying? Like I only have the roster that I have. And they said, yes, you have the roster that you wanted. We don't want to hear no excuses about no injuries. None. You got everybody you asked for. If you can't keep them healthy, that's your problem. Is that unfair? Yes. Is that also being an Ohio State head coach? Yes. He is 61-9, and all anybody want to do is compare him to John Cooper. He needs this in the worst way. I want it for him. So now you're going to go into Happy Valley, which you've heard people say, including Joel Klatt, it is the toughest place to play in football. Urban Meyer said it's the toughest place to play in football. They're going to show out. They're going to pack that stadium. They want your head. Penn State fans want your head. I don't know if Nittany Lions on the field want your head, but I know Penn State fans want you. They want every bit of that scarlet and gray. They want to place it on their mantle. I don't know how else to get it through Ohio State fans, or not Ohio State fans, Ohio State players' heads that there is a group of men in State College who are waiting on you to come to their gates so they can take everything you love. I wouldn't need a pep talk. I wouldn't need somebody to remind me of this. If you're waiting on me to storm your gates and I have an 11 a.m. meeting with you to do just that. So what Will Howard are we going to see? Are we going to see the Will Howard that beat an undefeated Texas Christian to win the Big 12 championship at Kansas State? What Quinshon Judkins are we going to see? That dude has been a monster when they hand him the football. Hand him the football. You know, I love Trey Henderson. I do. But the more I look at Trey, I'm thinking third down back. Third down back. Quinshon need to be the bell cow. Hand that boy the rock. Let him go, Coach Lockland. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all, man, that dude wants it. And with an offensive line that has been struggling to get people off of them, like the Ohio State offensive line the last couple of weeks, you need a running back that's going to make his own lane, going to make his own hole, going to make it happen for himself. That's what Quinshon Judkins has been able to do. And when you can't do that, 4 is open down there somewhere. Throw that boy the ball. Throw it in the vicinity. And you know what? If you choose to double cover him, that's Carnell Tate over there. That's Emeka Buka over there. Make it happen. Find a way. Defensively, Jim Knowles got some work to do, dog. Dylan Raiola ran through the middle of an Ohio State defense without an armed escort. Why? How? That ain't supposed to happen. Nebraska felt like winning that game. I gave Nebraska the pep talk last week. Them boys said, you know what, RJ, I got you. Let me go talk to somebody at the plant. Let me go see somebody at the Quickie Mart. Ask them what Nebraska football means to them and let me carry that with them. Man, that would be the thing I'd do if I'm a head coach, dog. I would make every single player hold a letter from a fan in their locker, in their chest for an entire week, every week. You're going to get somebody else that's going to remind you what the hell it is you out here trying to do. Because if you out here thinking that it's hard, and it is, it's very hard. If you out here thinking that I don't know if I can do this, you need to get that from somebody else who can't do it. And that's why college football is what it is. We all wish we could do it, right? We wish we could do it. And it means something different to us because that's your pride. That's your humanity out there, man. When people say Oklahoma, they're talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Like you can even see it in the comments on the show. Every other comment is somehow associated with me and Oklahoma, right? Tell me, RJ, where's Oklahoma ranked? They not. We sorry. Duh. But it's about me, right? Just like if anybody talks bad about Nebraska, it's you. There's a certain kind of Colorado fan. There wasn't no Colorado fan before Prime got there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not talking to you. Okay? Certain kind of Colorado fan that was listening to Meg Thee Stallion when she dropped Houston. Certain kind of Colorado fan don't need to be told that Quavo is Migo. Certain kind of Colorado fan that knows what Young Dolph means to Prime. Those are the folks I'm talking to right quick. They feel attacked when somebody comes after that dude. Whenever you say anything just a little bit on the nose, little bit construed as negative about Coach Prime in North Colorado, they gonna show up talking about, is he Jake Paul now? Yes. Colorado is still Jake Paul, still knocking people out. But Tyson gonna murder him. You put Colorado up against Georgia, what you expect to happen? One of them is Tyson, one of them is Jake Paul. We ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be Jake Paul in a boxing ring. I don't think it's okay to be Jake Paul, period. But it's okay to be Jake Paul in a boxing ring. He can fight. But if you're going to put him up there against Iron Mike, no, he can't. You're going to put him up there against Deontay Wilder, no, he can't. Tyson Fury, no, he can't. You know, I keep going because I got it like that because, I love boxing. I love to fight. If you could not tell already, RJ loves to fight. You know what I mean? Like, I got the collapsed knuckles and the broken nose to prove it. But that's what it is, man. Like, that's what it means to have your program on Front Street. And that's how Ohio State fans feel going on in Penn State, dog. They feel like the program is on Front Street right now, and they don't like it. They don't like it not one bit. You got Ohio State fans who saw a win against Nebraska as a harbinger of we suck. We're sorry. We're bad. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's a prerogative. That's a feeling. There's nothing you can do about that. Feelings are feelings. You got to let them pass through. You got to let them be. Okay, there's that. So now, Buckeyes, the dudes that are going to be playing for gold pants here in a couple of weeks, they're going to have to let people know, I got you. I heard you. I understand. We did not reach the standard, and you, fans, set the standard. That's why they get bathed in all of this excitement and all of this money and all of this adulation, is because when you come through for them, it's unlike coming through for anybody else. You were Buckeye, you beat Michigan, you win a Big Ten championship, you win a national championship, you live forever. You live forever. That is what you're chasing. That is why it's so hard. That's why people are so hard on you, because this is what you're carrying, you know? So you need to go out there like you got Layla in this hand and Case in this other hand, and you need to make that unrequited love do what it do, baby. You got to make that happen. You got to make that go. No, Ohio State is not okay, but they can be with a win against Penn State on Saturday. I want to talk a little bit about the college football playoff projections. As I have written them down, they'll be live on foxsports.com where you can read them and give me your insight. But you know what? I'm going to put y'all on game right quick. I'm going to put y'all on a little bit ahead. I'm going to tell you about my top 25. Tell you a little bit about what I think is projected to happen if everything stays the same, right? It won't, but this is what we got right now. So the 12 seeded teams as I see them right now, be Oregon at 1, Big Ten champion, best team in college football, undefeated. Georgia at 2, got a loss to Alabama, right? But also feels like the team that's going to win the SEC championship. Miami at number 3, they're undefeated, but it's soft undefeated, right? Do I think Clemson could beat them? Probably. Not sure that Miami wouldn't lose to Pitt or SMU for that matter, and both of those teams are still in this thing as well, right? You got Iowa State at 4, but that's because I know more about what Matt Campbell's Iowa State football team is going to look like than I do Kalani Sitake's BYU team is going to look like in the Big 12 later on, right? I've seen what Matt Campbell's program is capable of. Matt Campbell, by the way, also ought to be in somebody's conversation for Coach of the Year. They're about to go 8-0, or they can go 8-0 for the first time in school history. And this is a man who won the first major bowl game at Iowa State just 4 years ago with Breece Hall, Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? That was 2020. They beat Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl. Ohio State, I got 5, runner-up in the Big Ten championship as it seems today, right, based on what we have seen and what outcomes we can project based on what we already know. Penn State at number 6, one of the 12 best teams in the sport today. We'll see if that's still true on Sunday. Texas, number 7, getting the short end of the stick for beating Vanderbilt on the road. Check this out, man. You lose to Georgia. Okay, best team in the SEC, number 2 team in the country. And you take the one loss. You go to Vanderbilt, who is a top 25 team. You beat Vanderbilt on the road. And you see Miami leapfrog you in the AP rankings because they beat, and I quote, 1-7 Florida State. If you Texas feel some kind of way about that, you should. Clemson at 8 here. They got the loss to Georgia, like Texas, but they have been sunning everybody else they played. BYU's undefeated, right? Still ain't played anybody past Kansas State that we really think is really good, but still undefeated. A&M at number 10, which is already interesting, right? A&M's going to play South Carolina team that's capable of winning every game they play, losing every game they play. I don't know who's going to win in that game in Columbia on Saturday, but I do know this. I'm going to be paying attention because both A&M and South Carolina look like they can't wait for a rock fight. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee at number 11, they get back into it this week, and they got a match up with Georgia that I can't wait for. And then Boise State feels like the highest-ranked Group of 5 champion, but I'm also adding here, Navy ought to be in somebody's top 25 ahead of Wazoo. Why? Wazoo's loss is to Boise State. Wazoo's best win is Washington. Navy beat Memphis. Memphis is 7-1. Memphis and Navy could play in the AAC championship game. Okay? Think about that. Do you think that Navy is a better football team than Boise State? I don't know. Is Ashton Jeanty that much more important than Bryson Daly at Army? I don't think so. That's the other thing that I can't really wrap my head around when we talk about Travis Hunter. I got comparisons even this year for what Ashton Jeanty is doing at Boise State. Bryson Daly is a monster at Army, who is undefeated, by the way. Blake Horvath is a monster at Navy. They're 6-1. You got dudes that have been able to run the football, is what I'm saying, at Group of 5 programs before. Okay, a couple of them at service academies that y'all just conveniently have forgotten about altogether when we talk about Heisman Trophy winners for whatever reason. But you want to keep telling me about Ashton Jeanty. Meanwhile, Travis Hunter playing both ways, playing 100 snaps a game. Get out of my face. So the projected playoff settings right now are number 1 Oregon versus the winner of 8-9, which would be Clemson, BYU. So we probably get Oregon versus Clemson in a neutral site game. Number 2 Georgia versus the winner of number 7, number 10, which would be Texas and Texas A&M. I would love nothing else than to see Texas and Texas A&M have to play twice in the same year after refusing to play each other for a decade. That would be amazing. And then what the door prize? Georgia. Yes, I'm that petty right now because I saw myself write that down. It's like, wait, is that real? We could get Texas versus Texas A&M again versus Georgia? Give that to me. Yes, thank you. Then we got 3 seed Miami versus the 6 and 11 seed, which would be Penn State, Tennessee. Could be a decent ball game, right? I think those teams are on par with each other, Penn State and Tennessee. And then one of those teams I might pick to beat Miami, depending on what Cam Ward we get. And then number 4, Iowa State would get the winner of the 5-12 matchup, which in this case, once again, be Ohio State versus Boise State. I got to tell y'all, man, I've been saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I would want to be the 5 seed more than I want to be any other seed in college football right now. I want to be a 5 seed. Okay? I'm going to host the 12 seed, which Boise State, Navy, Memphis, Army. I'm going to stomp them out. Then I get to play the weakest Power 4 champion, which in this case would be Iowa State, at a neutral site game. Give that to me. And then I get the number 1 seed. But by that time, number 1 seed has already had to play a game, so that bye week don't matter no more. So now if I'm Ohio State, I get Oregon again. Love that. Love that, love that, love that. So for a refresh, your 5-12 matchup, Ohio State, Boise State. Your 6-11 matchup, Penn State, Tennessee. Your 7-10 matchup, Texas versus Texas A&M. 8-9 matchup, be Clemson and BYU. I am excited about the prospect of such things happening. Really excited. Really, 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 really excited. I think we're going to see that change drastically over the next couple of weeks, but this is where we're starting from. Last thing that I want to acknowledge is a couple of overachievers and underachievers, and I probably need to do a much larger, longer segment on this. But I've said nice things about Indiana, and I was saying earlier in the year I'm going to force Indiana to make me say nice things about them, and they've done just that. They have beaten everybody they played. They are 8-0. They have a chance to be a 9-win team for just 3rd time in their history, and they've never won 10 games. They get an opportunity to do just that in 4 games left to play. That's a team that I had ranked, 99 out of 100 to open the season. Outstanding job by them. Army, I ranked them at 101 to start the season. They're undefeated. Vanderbilt, I ranked them behind Indiana with a win-loss total that Vegas set of 3. Top 25 program this year, right? Louisiana Monroe, I'd rank them dead last. That's a 2-loss team so far this year. And you know what? They still got a shot if Louisiana drops a game and they're able to beat Louisiana in the year to make it to the Sun Belt Championship. Florida State, precipitous, gargantuan, awful team that I thought was top 5. The AP thought was top 10. They're 1-7. The last team to start 1-6 after going undefeated the previous year was Maryland in 1956. That is the company that Florida State is keeping. Kansas, awful. I don't know exactly what went wrong, but 2-6 is going real wrong as you started out as a top 25 team, right? Michigan, top 10 team. You know what? What went wrong? Cheating. I mean, we'll say quarterback. You know, they played 3 different quarterbacks to start the season, and played 2 in the win against Michigan State. But you know what? Almost feels like if they don't have that dude cheating for them, that they not gonna be no good. I mean, the Connor Stallions, undefeated. No Connor Stallions, 5-3. Mediocre in the Immortan Joe sense of the word. Oklahoma, top 25 team. QB, play calling, and injuries, right? Full stop. We're supposed to win 7.5 is the win total. Might win 7 if they're lucky, right? Maine gets you to 5-4. And then you got to find wins against Bama, LSU, Missouri. Whatever. Oklahoma State, awful. What went wrong? Everything. Everything. Like, we're going to say QB because QB can fix a lot of your ills if he's good. But I don't know how to fix an offensive line return all 5 starters from last year and the tailback that, you know, was the best tailback in football, best offensive line, you know, rushing football last year. And they just cheeks this year. I don't know what's going on over there for Mike Gundy. And he's headbutting cows. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but a week ago, Mike Gundy needed to zoom into his media teleconference because he lost a headbutting match with a cow. His face wasn't one that he wanted to put on video. He said that, not me. SC, top 25 team. I don't know what went wrong, which means it's probably the head coach because Miller Moss doesn't look any worse than he did last year. Doesn't look much better either, but you know, they also have some clock management issues and some play calling selections that you might say questionable. But it's Lincoln Riley, so we give everybody the pass over there, except they're 4-4 now. So we'll see. Utah, also awful, but quarterback, right? Cam Rising been hurt for 2 years now. That's what it basically is, right? Isaac Wilson might not be that dude. Andy Ludwig said, I'll retire. Offense coordinator, middle of the season, said, I'll retire. That's where they're at. Probably need to do a little bit more exhaustive in that list and give that a little bit more thought, but I just wanted to write those things down and give those to you as we're talking. Coming up on 45 minutes with this here thing. Yeah, it's 15 minutes more than I thought I was going to give tonight. So we're going to call it there. If you like the #1 college football show, please subscribe to the channel. We just went over 115,000 subscribers last week. Probably need to get to 116,000 subscribers this week. And as soon as we start doing playoff selection committee rankings, we will probably be live doing those as well. And I will see y'all on Monday. Till then, get some good sleep, right? Hit to work tomorrow. And if you won, crow about it. If you lost, tell everybody don't talk to me. Doses.